Hey, old school wrestling fans. I am back and streaming on this channel for the first time in quite a while. And yes, it is May 19th, at least for another 20 minutes if you're in the UK. And May 19th is not only a big day in wrestling because of the whole Kane thing. Remember that with his movie and how it haunted him? But it's also a big day because it's 35 years today since the craziest of cross pop culture crossovers. So iconic. The NWA/WCW meets Robocop. The Return of Robocop at Capital Combat 1990. So I'm going to be watching that tonight. I did put it in the chat. If you guys want to watch along, it is free on YouTube. So that's nice and convenient. And it's been a while since I've watched this one, so I'm looking forward to checking out and see how it holds up. Because it's a funny era, this in WCW, because there's still a lot of good wrestling going on in the company because they've got some really good talent, some great tag teams, some good singles guys. You've got Ric Flair, obviously, still at the top of his game at this point. Some growing stars as well, but you've also got a lot of cartoony bullshit, some of which I find entertaining, some maybe not so much. But it has been a while since I've watched this, so I'm looking forward to revisiting it tonight. You can donate to the channel if you wish to support the channel. The link is there on that purple banner, nice and bright for you, but you can support me on PayPal. Any donations are appreciated. But I'm going to get into the show because it is a full-length pay-per-view. So WCW Capital Combat 1990 says Robocop saves Sting on the YouTube page. Okay, let's get into it, guys. I'm going to count us down for anyone who's watching in the chat or anyone who watches later on. But 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, look at the early 90s graphics. I really like that black and white poster with the Road Warriors on. That's very old school. Return of Robocop. In bright green. They didn't think that they didn't think that layout out, did they? I know they were going for a colour which was different from the others, but it just looks very random. Lime green. Randomly inserted into that background. Shit, Tony Schiavone looks like he's just come out of school. Look at that haircut. Evening, Meredith. First in the chat tonight. Hello. Armed Forces Day, it was. Now, does that mean it's Armed Forces Day today? Or is it just that it happened to fall on that date back then? It probably depends on. I'm guessing because this would have been on the weekend, so they probably had it over the weekend that's just gone. Any Americans in the chat, let me know. That guy is very stern face. The one who's doing the conducting, he's taking it very, very seriously. Bum, 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 bum. How are you, Meredith, anyway? I guess I should dedicate this to Jim Ross because of the sad news that he's been diagnosed with cancer. And he will be one of the lead announcers, or the lead announcer for the show. Him and Bob Caudle, I think, were doing the pay-per-views at this time. So my thoughts are going out to Jim Ross and his family and friends, and good luck to him in the fight ahead. So it's cool that we're watching an old school NWA pay-per-view where he is like the lead announcer and very much in his prime here. Joe Biden as well. Of course, thoughts go out to the former president. Yeah, Jim Ross, the wrestling announcer who's announcing on the show I'm watching, he's just been diagnosed with cancer as well, Meredith. Yes, let's count. I should do a drinking game, really, how many times they say Robocop in this. That's the first one. Unfortunately, I've got coffee, but if I get something a bit stronger later, I might do a drinking game. I forget now, Meredith. Oh shit, we're seeing too much of Big Daddy Dink. Fucking no shame in this guy, is there? Oh well, look at this team. Whoa, this team is stacked with talent. Bam Bam Bigelow and Cactus Jack on the same team. Awesome. No, he's a wrestling announcer. I mean, he does have his own podcast because they all do now, but no, he's famous for being a wrestling announcer. He's commentating on this show. And in '93 he went to the WWF and he was there for a very long time. On and off. He was released a couple of times, but he was there a long time for a lot of his career. And then in recent years, he's been commentating in AEW. So he's been commentating basically since about the early 80s, something like that, early or mid 80s. He's often thought of as one of the best announcers ever. Oh, God. Yes, we all want to forget about Norman the Lunatic. Different times. I think this match sums up what a weird time it was in the NWA, though, because you've got some really great talent in the match, but then you've got bullshit like Norman the Lunatic, who's on the same team as the Road Warriors. Put that chest away, Big Daddy Dink. Cactus Jack for mayor. That's not a bad shout. People do love Mick Foley now, so he could have gone into politics. I won't get political, guys, but wouldn't you love to see him run against Trump and put Trump in the mandible claw? That would be something. I'm not sure about the leopard skin tights Cactus Jack has, though. Oh, that's a big power slam, yeah. One of Animal's best moves, I think. He really executes that well. Oh, he was almost off target with that. Are you watching Meredith or are you just hanging out? Because I did post the link in the chat. We're 8 minutes 15 into it. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, I missed the part about how old he is. Jim Ross, I'm not sure his exact age. I think he's in his 60s, something like that. He may even be early 70s now. I'm not too sure. He's either like mid or late 60s or early 70s, I would say. Yeah, there's a few in this match no longer around, sadly. Kevin Sullivan, we lost, I think it was last year. Both the Road Warriors have gone. Bam Bam, sadly, has gone. Also, the guy who played Norman here. To be fair, I would wrestle in my pajamas. If it was an option, I probably would wrestle in my pajamas. I wonder if some of those tattoos are fakes on Bam Bam, because he seems to have a lot. And I've never noticed him have so many before. But then it could just be because normally when I see him, he's got long sleeves. So they're hidden. That might be why. Oh, yeah. Pretty decent bump there. Both guys outside. That looked pretty impressive. I so hope that's true. That Bigelow was a bounty hunter before he went into wrestling. You can see that. You could see him in that sort of job. Oh man, he's Cactus is taking a slacking, to quote Lord Alfred Hayes. See, even in the 90s, oh man, shit, he's insane. Oh man, this is full on. I'm enjoying this one. See, this is one thing I like about wrestling from this time period is you just believe that these guys actually hate each other. And the brawling looks more realistic than the brawling does now. because it feels like it's less sort of like choreographed in a way. It sort of feels like if you were having a fight in the bar, the way they're sort of hitting each other sort of looks more like unrehearsed. Oh, that's a big suplex getting him over. But I was going to say, you see, even at this time, even this early in his career, Cactus Jack, or Cactus Jack Manson, as they're calling him here. Oh wow, Sutherland even got a slam in. Even back here, he's doing the insane bumps. I think the idea is that he did them so early on in his career as a way to try and get himself to stand out from the crowd. Oh man, he even took a crazy bump just doing a snap there across the ropes. That's how committed this guy is to the bit. But then as soon as he became like a megastar in WWF, like he still did the insane bumps, there's no doubt about it, but he was a bit more selective about when he did them. I don't think I've ever seen this show all the way through, because I don't remember ever watching this match. I was quite surprised when some of the guys came out, and it's like, oh, okay. But maybe it's just been a long time. I don't remember ever seeing it anyway. Ah. Oh, it's broken down now into a Darny brawl. If this was during his WWF runs, JR would be like, fist and fire, fist and fire. Oh, that hit the mark from Hawk. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Ah, what a rush. That was a good choice to open the card. I think at this, definitely during this time, the order of the matches, the way they put them on, was much better than they do nowadays. Because that was a really good choice to open. You had some big names in the match. It was quite fast paced. You had some good brawling. Just a good one to like warm up the crowd. It didn't feel like filler in any way, but it was also obviously not as big as some of the matches that are going to come later. Well, again, I don't have an alcoholic drink, but I guess if I did, I would drink at the sight of Johnny Ace's mullet. First mullet of the knife. Oh, look, they're still walking back. I love that. You don't see that anymore, neither, because they cut her away. I miss shit like that. It just feels a bit, again, and I know why they don't show it now, because it looks a bit unprofessional, maybe, but I just love the realism of things like that. The guys are still recovering from the last match, and they're walking back through the curtain as the next guy is coming through. I love that. And the next guy, of course, is Mean Mark, aka the future Undertaker. Teddy Long, his manager. Fair to say, you never would have guessed. Like, there's definitely potential in Mark Calloway because of his size, his look. And even back here, he is doing some of the stuff, like the rope walk. But you never would have guessed that he would go on to become one of the biggest names ever in wrestling. You just would have no idea. In fact, you probably would have said, if you like compared him to Sid Vicious at this time, you probably would have said someone like Sid Vicious would have been more likely to have had that sort of size career. It's funny what a white meat babyface Johnny Ace is here. Because I think the real Johnny Ace is like nothing like that. That is one insane mullet. I'm just mad I don't have a stronger drink to hand. Oh yeah, he does move. He does move pretty well for a man his size. Oh, as does Ace, to be fair. That was a nice crossbody. Element of surprise. I think you can tell that they've only just brought Mean Mark in. Because I think if this match was like a couple of months later, I don't think he would be selling as much as he is to someone like Ace. You can damn sure bet if this match was taking place next year in the WWF and the Undertaker character was in full swing, he would flatten Ace in about 2 minutes. I mean, obviously he's got the size and a decent look, but like, yeah, his physique actually isn't. Oh, that was a nice crossbody. Ace actually moves pretty well. Yeah, but his physique actually isn't that impressive. Mean Marks. And I think he's only a little taller than Ace, so. But this does feel like, in a way, a regular match. It doesn't feel like a full-on like big man match, where it would be more about the brawling and some big power moves, and that's sort of what I expected. Teddy Long's one of my favourite managers from this time, anyway. He's so entertaining as that sneaky chicken shit style manager. A lot of charisma as well. It was probably smart sticking me marking the skyscrapers, because it is a good way to cover up some of his limitations. Letting the blood run to the head. Classic vertical suplex. That looked good, at least. Oh, a savate kick. JR getting fancy with his names. There's a fun storyline. I think it's from, well, it's definitely early 90s. I can't remember what year. I think it's like either 1990 or 91. Probably 90, because it's when Ric Flair is still around. But there's some sort of match where, like, I think Teddy Long's guy loses. It's either one of his guys or maybe when he's managing Doom, but they lose, and Teddy Long has to be like the chauffeur or something of Ric Flair or like one of the big names. And just some of the antics in the segments I remember being a lot of fun, because Teddy always made the most of some of those kinds of storylines. Well, to quote Holly from the Win Twice podcast, which I recommend you guys check out, he's awake. He's awake. Oh, sorry, I've got it. Sorry, I fucked that up. That's why I shouldn't try other people's material. More like, oh, big boot. He's asleep. He's asleep. Oh, he's awake. Apologies, I screwed it up. Robocop has his own locker room. Oh, he got some hang time on that leg drop. Yeah, sloppy cover. Yeah, that would have been an upset. I'm actually quite enjoying this match. It's certainly better than you would expect it to be. Oh yeah, casually. I'm glad that wasn't the finish. I would have been pissed if the finish was him dodging a drop kick and then getting the win. I'm guessing it's going to be the heart punch finish, which I think is a shitty finisher, but you know. It's probably a sign of the times that it's a very basic. And the idea is that he's such a big guy, he can get enough power behind it. Plus, it's at the point of the match where the other guy's quite worn down.
He's been coming on though, Jim, in the last few moments of the night, coming on strong, and he's wrestling now with an air of confidence where you just look at him, and he has the look that he says, hey, I can do with him what I want to do. Getting on now, taking an opportunity to interject himself in this contest. Steve Watchalong drops his hat. He may lose more than that a little bit later tonight. Yeah, we might see this. He might be a skid here after that. Pretty much is already, Bob. Maybe a little trim with her. They don't talk about stuff. It's this guy that's sitting on top. You can hear that when our cameras take you right inside the ring. We're going to give you some great, unique shots, unique perspective.
All right, baby.
Good move by Johnny Ace and a drop kick. Good knee mark down to one knee. Now Johnny Ace.
Oh, Ace still has a bit of fight. This is why I'm glad I revisited this, because I don't really remember this match neither. I'm assuming I probably saw it, but I'm not 100%. Whereas some of the big matches I do remember. Oh, he just sealed his own fate. The heart punch. Oh, he's going to do the rope thing first. I saw bits of this match the other night because I was watching the Wrestle Me episode on it. Impressive for a man his size. Hey, I'm not sure I agree he won it convincingly, Jim. Unless he just means like the way he won it at the end, but it was much closer than I expected. Slam-o-meter. Calib. Oh, fucking hell, look at those bars along the bottom. Does that mean it's an 8 out of 10? They've given that move an 8 out of 10. I can only assume that's what it means. Ah, this is the gold we've come for. Enough of the decent wrestling. This is the bullshit we've come for. Gordon Soley outside the rope. Sting and Robocop's dressing room. Is he talking about Sting or Robocop? Anyone who's seen the first Robocop movie knows he could easily be talking about Robocop there. Sting myself, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the finest athletes and certainly should be the world heavyweight champion at this time. Another guy who's no longer with us, sadly, R.I.P. Gordon Soley. But his heart's bigger than that. He's concerned about the little stingers. Jim, I'll tell you what, there's nothing happening here right now. However, I'm going to stand by and try and catch them as they come out right now. What is that noise? Is that meant to be Robocop doing something in the dressing room? Or was it just some other noise? I'm going to headcanon it's meant to be Robocop communicating with Sting, because that would be fucking gold. There's some interesting gimmick matches on this show. Very old school. We've got a strap match. We've got a cage. We got a hair match, or at least Teddy Long's hair is on the line in that match. I forgot Gibson does this signing thing when Morton's talking. If I ever meet one of these guys, I'm going to ask why Robert Gibson did the sign thing. Damn, the denim jacket is a choice. The denim jacket and the scarf. That is a choice.
Everybody don't know, the fans don't know that he was just released from the hospital today. He's not supposed to be here, but he guaranteed me and all these nice friends that, brother, he's not going to let him down. It don't matter what the
Ricky Given lacks the big sell.
Ladies and gentlemen, before introducing the next tribute debate, we would like to acknowledge the winners of the Capital Combat 90s Stakes, Mr. Edmonton, Robert Federer. The following contest, it is set for one fall.
Sweepstakes. So much of this screams late 80s, early 90s. Do they even have sweepstakes anymore? Oh yeah, I forgot his sub name was Wildfire. That's a former NWA champion you're talking about there. Okay, I'm assuming the random team of Captain Mike and Tommy Rich are being fed to the Samoans here.
Making their way to the ring, a great contrast in styles, not only between the two teams, but between teammates as far as Rich and Mike Rotunda are concerned. Bob Tommy Rich, 12-year pro from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Probably because it's on pay-per-view and they tend to be quite lengthy matches at this time in the NWA. I'm guessing they'll give them a bit of a match, but I'm sort of assuming the purpose of the match is to put over the SWAT team pretty strong.
They really want to mix it up and get in and bang it with you, kick, fight, claw, do anything you can. I think Rotunda and Rich, they want to keep a little good wrestling.
This is one where if it does turn out to be a job match, I'm not going to be too unhappy.
You know, Bob, we heard Ricky Martin make a comment. Lex Luger, that's a story fans were telling me as it unfolded, that was just released from the hospital today. And much to the chagrin of his physicians, they strongly suggested and really told him he was taking his career in his own hands. Luger had been jumped just a few weeks ago by the Horsemen, which is pretty much their MO in recent weeks. They did it to Sting. Right. We're going to see the fans will be able to see how they have done it to Norman on one of our broadcasts. And they have done it to Lex Luger. Luger hospitalized, just released from the hospital today. Well, he was injured. He had a high temperature of about 103 for several days, Jim, and he had a very serious infection. And as you say, the doctor said, Lex, it's not wise to do that. And that's what I think when we alluded to it earlier, that Luger is showing a tremendous amount of courage. But Jim, I think in his heart, he felt like, hey, I just exactly right, Bob. Luger was. I talked to him about it. He didn't want to discuss it. He said, I don't want to have any excuses. I'm here to wrestle and win the heavyweight championship of the world. He said, I feel better, but he said, I'll feel great if I win the championship. Now, it's been a great week. Aside from the fact that Lex Luger has been in the hospital, I visited him a couple of times in the hospital. The World Championship Wrestling had another announcement this past Thursday at a press conference attended by Tim Turner with the biggest athlete that I have personally ever seen. I hate I miss that. El Gigante, 7'7", 450 pounds, was signed to a wrestling contract. I can't believe it, Jim. What does a 7'7" man look like? Tall. Hey, tall. Look, Evan, I hate I miss that. I really want to see that guy. I look forward to it. Well, I think we finally got that Samoan ceremony out of the way there. It took some time with the Samoans, but this is a little ritual they do before the match. I don't think they're going to wrestle and get that behind. And we'll get ready for this tag team event. I'll tell you, it's hard to concentrate. You think about the challenge that Lex Luger's got to face wrestling the greatest athlete that I personally have ever seen in the square circle, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Luger, that infection is and it's really caused.
Tommy Rich does look quite similar, actually, to Johnny Ace. I guess a lot of baby faces in this era look like that, where they were kind of like the good-looking blonde, white meat ones. Oh wow, it's nearly a decade at this point since he had that brief NWA title run. Oh, that was a slick crossbody. Speaking of fashion, as I was before, the tie-dye tights, that is a choice from Rich. When you've got such a shitty gimmick as Captain Mike, then more than ever, you have to talk about his good amateur background. If you try and put over the gimmick itself, you're on a hide into nothing. New York, he's really going in for it, isn't he, JR? The New York Athletic Club. It's the early 90s. You know you can't hurt a Samoan's head. I'm 41 minutes in, guys, for anyone in the chat, if you want to watch the show with me. The link is there in the chat. It's on the WCW YouTube channel, dedicated to old WCW shows. If you want to go on their page, I recommend it. Especially since that stuff hasn't made the jump to Netflix. But yeah, the whole show, I put the link at the top of the chat there, but the whole show is free on YouTube. It's so random they gave him like a sailor's gimmick, considering he's meant to be from Syracuse, New York. Like, if they were saying he was from, like, I don't know, like California or somewhere where you think of being big for like ships and things, I could understand it a bit more. Okay, this is going to be the finish, I reckon. Oh no, I was wrong. Off target with the headbutt. But again, you can't hurt their heads. Get with it, guys. It's quite a nicely paced show so far, because this is the third match. And we've had like a couple of interview segments. And we're 42 minutes in. That feels about right for like we're on the third match. Oh, that was a novel move. Might be the most original thing you're going to see from Captain Mike. Whereas later in the year, when they repackage him as Michael Wall Street. Oh, devious. Oh, okay. When they repackage him as Wall Street, which is definitely still to this, well, he's retired now, but definitely, for me at least, and some other people, his best gimmick. The way they just embrace, like, okay, he's from New York, so he's a yuppie, made a lot of sense. And I don't know why, for whatever reason. Well, I can kind of see why. But he always made for a better heel than face, really. I think it's because he doesn't have that much charisma, but just has a very stern looking expression and quite a deadpan look to him. So I think him being like a heel with that kind of, you know, the idea is that he's quite a stick in the mud and quite boring, but it like in a way which makes sense for a heel, where you can get heat on it. That will press Bob. It just worked a lot better. Oh, that looked good. I think it also looked good because the camera was positioned behind him. So you had him like falling back into the camera shot. Oh, Trapezius. The Tongan death grip, the hold which has put thousands of wrestling fans to sleep.
You know, it looks to me like a good strong wind would blow Theodore Long right over. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in there. He's happy though, Bob. James Brown is out, and he's happy about that. He led that movement, or so he says. Front face lock by the Samoan.
I think this sort of match going as long as it is a bit more frustrating because I'm 90% sure the Samoans are going to win. Because they're against like a makeshift team. And it's clear that they're the ones being pushed harder. They also came out second. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times during this era, if you came out second, you tended to win. Oh, the Savot kicks are looking good. I don't know if I'm talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure a lot of times it panned out like that. Feel free to make me look like a fool in the comments. Oh yeah, you can fuck off, match. You're not ending on a count out. Yeah, good. I don't think Mike Rotunda is worth protecting that much. Give them a pinfall win. Oh, that was a bit random because he was definitely lining up for a leg drop, but then seemed to change at the last minute into more of a stomp. Come on, not another rest hold. Come on, guys, it's time to go to the finish. So far, it's an enjoyable show. The opening match was enjoyable and good for an opener. I'd say that was a solid, probably 3-star. I don't know if that's generous, but considering the talent and how well it flowed and how it did its job for an opening match, I think I would give that a 3-star. And the following match, which I didn't expect much from, was better than I expected. So that match I would probably give either a 2 or like a 2.5, 2. In that sort of range. This is definitely the weakest match, but even this hasn't sucked. I think it's suffering a bit because of how long it's dragging on. But this does feel a bit more like a film match. Fucking rest hold again. Come on, guys. Let's get to the finish, shall we? I know we've got the Robocop bollocks, which I'm going to enjoy in a so bad it's good way. But as long as the big matches on the card all like deliver, it's actually looking like this is going to be a strong show. Don't call me Pee Wee Anderson. Classic. I didn't hook the leg. Come on. Schoolboy error. If Rotunda's team wins this, I'm going to be pissed. Oh, he always did a good flying clothesline. I'll give him that. Oh, the hot tag. I do enjoy. I think because normally wrestlers in this era tended to have like the basic ring attire, like typical tights and what have you. Maybe the odd leotard. I think because of that, if they go in a match like this where it goes for quite long, you can naturally see the sweat. There's something quite visually satisfying about the sweat. Oh, what a lazy ring announcer! The SSD! Fucking abbreviation. Well, that was a lame finish. Yeah. 2 stars for that one? Even that might be generous. It wasn't terrible, but definitely the weakest match so far. 1.5? I'll go 1.5 for that one. It didn't really do that much for me. Steiner Brothers, one of my favorite ever tag teams.
But believe me, when it was time to wrestle the Steiner Brothers, that line was very short. But believe me, nobody's unbeatable and nobody's invincible.
It's funny how, because Scott was definitely, as a wrestler, the more talented. But it always seemed in their interviews that Rick had the more charisma. Probably because he was like more off the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to.
So in some ways, you might have, like, you could see the potential in Scott. Sweet stakes winner. Sweet stakes winner.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the guest ring announcer for the hair versus hair managers match. Ladies and gentlemen, the first lady.
Missy Hyatt.
The very lovely.
Oh, I nailed it. In a gorgeous evening gown. Who the fuck is that next to her?
Who will shave the hair of the loser of this following contest.
Oh, he must be in the industry. Is this like the low rent? What was his name? Sly Spelling from the haircut for men, who they got at WrestleMania 10. Is he like the low rent version of him? Precious Paul. I love it. I love because he's like this really macho sort of guy, and they stick him with Precious as like his subtitle. Oh, Missy's giving it some oomph. I tell you what, Missy Hyatt's misunderstood. Oh, look at those tights. Teddy's going all in. Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray. Oh, I can barely speak. Sugar Ray Long. I love it. Don't hate me, but I've got more time for this match. I've got more time for this match than the last match. You can hate at me if you want, but I just enjoy the personalities involved more. And there's always room for a good comedy match on any show. I don't want too many of them, but if it's one and it's entertaining and it doesn't outlive its purpose, that's fine. Oh, Ellerin is such a cheater. He's ripping off his boxing gloves because he knows he can't beat him in a boxing match. What a cheater. The old loaded glove. Well, yeah, they really didn't hang about in that one. I think I would have given it at least a couple more minutes, but I do appreciate them. They did what they wanted to do and got it over with. It's a shame they didn't trim at least 5 minutes off the last match. Speaking of trimming, oh, poor Teddy. Classic Four Horsemen lineup. The Nature Boy. I still don't have a stronger drink because Flair's got one hell of a mullet too. I would have drunk that. Woo! You probably got the two best promos in the business at this point in this segment, Flair and Anderson. They're definitely up there. Like, there's other people. Obviously, Cornette did an amazing promo, so he would be up there as well. And there's a few others, but it's hard to really beat Anderson during this time and Flair as well for promos. Oh, JR took a bit of Gorilla's playbook with that line. A major happening. I wonder if that was a cheeky little pastiche to Gorilla. I like to think it probably is.
Championship event of Capital Combat 90, the Return of Robocop, the United States Tag Team Championship.
I love how every time they say the title of the show, they've got to get in the Return of Robocop part. Just making extra work for yourself, guys. I'm pretty sure the people from Robocop 2 won't be mad if occasionally you leave it off. Speak of the devil. Good old Jimmy Cornette with the Midnight Express. I think we've got shitty dubbed WWE Network version of their theme. That's a shame. This match I do remember well. It's them against Zeke and Pillman. I remember this match well. This is a good one. Not throwing shade on the ring lady there, the one who has the coat, but she looks pretty old for that role. Considering they tend to go for more, you would think they would go for more glamorous younger girls. Oh, of course, this is Cornette going in the cage, I think. Oh, he's going to sell the hell out of this. Oh, here we go. Gotta love the jacket. Clothesline from the referee. What a spot. Oh, that was so good. Yeah, that security guy actually looks a lot like Arn Anderson. I remember seeing him on like other shows. And it's freaky how much he actually looks like Arn Anderson. He may have been like his brother, who knows? Yeah, this is up there for match of the night. From memory. It's going to be close between this and the Flair Luger main event. And I think that was typical at the time. A lot of times, Cornette said this, a lot of times the Midnight would put on either the best match of the night or the second best. You know, if Flair was on the card, sometimes maybe he would have the best match and they would be second best. But, you know, they're even pushing at times to be even better than Flair's match. Certainly a bit different. But then if Flair wasn't on the card, like, a lot of times they would definitely be the best match of the night. Oh, they're bumping around quite nicely for them. Oh, nice. Great timing on that. Great reactions from the heels. Because the Luger Flair match from the pay-per-view before this, Wrestle War, was like excellent. And I would say that was the match of that night. But I don't know, I think on this show it might have a fight with this match. We'll see. It's been a while. Because I can't remember, I know the whole thing with Robocop coming out, and I think he scares off the Horseman, but I can't remember if that's during the match or if it's just like a separate like segment. I got high on that one. If that whole Robocop thing is during the match, then I'm going to have to dock at least a point off that match. But if it's like just separate shenanigans in a different segment, that would be better. If the Robocop BS is during that match, then my mind will be made up there and there. This is the match of the night.
one way, Jim. That turned it around fairly well. Nice tackle. Comes to the goes to the far side, gets more momentum. Up and over. There's the sunset flip by beautiful Bobby, but Tillman rolls right out. Tillman lands on his feet. Oh, that's way to kill. And there's that drop kick we were telling you about. By beautiful Bobby right to kiss her.
Right in the kisser. Love it.
I don't think there's many teams at the Midnight Express and Fate that have the athletic ability to fly Brian and be there. Just might be a little confusing for him at the moment, you know? I know with the big Tampa Mountain, Barney going on at Cincinnati, Uber Assassin, and there's a big one on the broadcast. Their former teammate, the young man, the Orange Tiger, won the Hip-Hop Search Award while playing for the Bengals, tagging in the C-Man. C-Man the wrist lock on. Sweet Stan, but Stan, his big fingers extended right to the throat of C-Man. There's the elbow. What all four of these guys are so quick. It's better reading, man. I tell you, they've got bodies, they got builds, they're athletes, they're quick. You talk about flying Brian, Paul Richard, Minnesota, really think about him, 6'5". He's an outstanding specimen in his own right. 5-year pro, turning toughness line Brian quite well. Up and over he goes. And here comes the atomic drop. And beautiful Bobby ran right into the marker. All U.S. Tag Team Champions here. And perhaps the deciding factor. That man right there, Is that there? he's in the game, and he's not a factor in the match. The thing about it, Tillman is keeping our eye on the board. Ever-present tennis racket in hand, likes to load it, use it. He'll have a hard time doing it while he's in the game.
I love the sweet Stan Shavot kick. His karate kicks and that style really adds something different. I'm just going to pause it for a couple of minutes. Oh, nice deep arm drag. Back in a moment. I'm just going to pause it. So I've paused it at 1:14, 1 hour 14, 37 seconds, in case you're watching on the replay. Okay. Still a few more matches to go, so still time for a little bit of a drinking game. Okay. Back to the show. Okay, so for those of you who want to take a part in a fun drinking game, it's a drink or a shot every time a mullet comes on screen, or every time they say Robocop, which is still going to be a lot since he hasn't even appeared yet. So there's at least two mullets in this match, I think. Both the Midnight, I'm pretty sure, have mullets. Maybe even the ref. Is that a mullet? I guess, maybe three, because the ref, I'm pretty sure, counts as a mullet. I'm not sure about Pillman. I'll do three, though. So 1, 'Pillman's probably more of a perm. 2, 3. Yeah, Pillman screwed that up a little bit. He screwed it up, but at least it looked kind of realistic. Because of that, because in reality, they obviously wouldn't naturally always be on cue like that.
I think they're a little bit befuddled right now. I know for a fact before the match, the Midnight Express, they said, hey, we're going to go in, we're going to work these two guys over, we're going to come out with that championship. And they were extremely confident. I think now they've lost a lot of that confidence because it's not gone their way. If you had to go in points right now, the champions would turn into your head. You're right, Bob, and an armbar or hammerlock applied momentarily by the Z-Man and another quick tag. Both these teams like to use the quick tag. And the Z-Man felt beautiful Bobby coming in with a scoop slam. There's a lateral press. He's got the leg grapevine. Could not really hook it, so he only got 2 that time. But he tags in flying in time. A lot of kick changes here. And they're working close to the corner. They're tagging in and out, in and out. So the each time he gets up and turns around. Double that armbar firmly secured. He was a member of the special teams. A wedge buster. One of those courageous kamikazes on the special teams for the Cincinnati Bengals in his NFL career. Hey, you told me something right there. I'm not so sure how much you got up there. Maybe out of your mind to do that. They think it's special for you tonight. It's suicide almost if you get into something like that. Suicide.
That's the experience coming through. Sweet neck breaker as well on the floor. The champions getting into their groove. Even with Cornette in the cage, the game plan doesn't change. Oh, drink. He mentioned Robocop. God damn. Right on the money. It was entertaining the time when Cornette lost his shit when Dave Meltzer was complaining. Sorry, not complaining, comparing like one of the Young Bucks to Bobby Eaton. Just because of how serious, like you could legit tell he was pissed off. And of course, it's nonsense. I agree with Cornette. No matter what you think of the Young Bucks, you definitely wouldn't put them up there with the Midnight Express. Or at least most people wouldn't. And Bobby Eaton, like, for what he did, and just as a tag team wrestler, is like one of the greatest ever. But just how animated Cornette got over that was really funny. Again, 3 of the 4 guys in this match no longer around. That's very sad. Oh, that was right on the money again. Close. Oh yeah, I forgot Zeman and Pillman were the defending champions. I thought it was the other way around. I think you could always see how Pillman was the one with more upside out of him and Zink, how he was always the one who had the most potential as like a future singles guy. I don't think Zink was as bad as some people thought, but like he's definitely one of those who benefits more from being in a tag team than the singles. Yeah, the Bama Jam. Nice. Ooh. May well have had him if he hooked the leg, but still a big kick out. Oh, I thought we were going to have a tombstone there. Hot tag. Naive from the Z-Man. That could cost him. Rocket launcher. Ah, oh, beautiful. No. See, they keep you guessing because a lot of times that probably would have ended the match. But the fact that Zink got out of it elevates him. New champions. I knew they got them back at some point. I just didn't know if it was on this show. Look at Cornette straight at the cage to celebrate. Good match. The finish was a little bit sloppy. Just the way he took the blow, I don't think it looked like it was that strong. I think it's more the selling from Zink. And it was a little bit of like a dusty type finish. But besides that, I thought it was a really good match. There's a better version of that finish at the Great American Bash. Robocop, drink. Robocop, I think he said it again, drink. Oh, this shit is so good. I'm sorry. People can shit on this, but them doing the crackling video camera, which you know is them just mirroring the film. That shit is gold, I'm sorry. Steam! The spinning wagon wheel like sparklers was the funny thing. I remember 30 Rock doing a gag with those, how they look like swastikas if they stop when they're doing the fireworks special. Robocop, drink. Robocop, drink. By the time he gets down the runway, it'll be time for the next pay-per-view. Robocop, drink. Robocop, drink. Well, this is why they gave him the big money. Robocop, drink. Yeah, the segment is here, so it's better than if it happens during the main event. Robocop, drink. Still not great, but Robocop, drink. His buddy Robocop, his new buddy. Drink. Robocop, drink. Well, I think that was at least 8 times Jim Ross said it, or the two of them said it between them. I know it's partly to have Sting involved, to keep the story building with him and the Horseman while he's out injured. Oh, JYD. Oh, JYD. Jumping ship from the end, from WWF. Probably felt like the right move at the time. I know he was over quite strong in WWF, but like he had probably peaked and wasn't going to get that much higher on the card. I don't think he did much in WCW though. Unless you count winning the 6-man tag team titles. Oh, Cornette doing double duty. His mother's house? What's been going on with JYD and Cornette's mother? They're either implying some sort of weird affair, or maybe they're just saying he was giving her shit over who her son is. The dog is back. Well, that segment could have been on TV. I guess they wanted to make a big deal out of JYD's return, but there you go. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Moving all week for you. These days are ours. Love this era of Freebirds. Late 80s, early 90s Freebirds, when they were heels. And the whole Bad Street USA theme. This is the sweet spot for me. Yay. Bad Street, oh USA. Bad Street NPI. Ah, those cool bifocal shades. Some fashion tonight. Oh, Robocop, they said it again, drink. Oh, of course, double mullet. There's at least, there might be 4 mullets. There's at least 3. There's at least 3 mullets. Come on, I'm going to do the shots now. 3 shots because there's 3 mullets. That's 1. 2. Okay, 3. God damn. Okay, that nearly killed me. 3 shots for 3 mullets. I meant to say before, after all that Robocop shenanigans, Sting didn't even get a part in Robocop 2. He was out injured at the time too. They could have featured him somewhere in that film as a return. Pardon. I can never remember if it was like a storyline injury or if it was legitimate. I think it was a storyline because, like, they actually did it on TV, like the Horseman injuring his leg when they kicked him out the group. Funny to think Sting was in the Horseman once upon a time. Unless it's one of those where his knee needed surgery in real life, and so they just worked it into the storyline. That's possible. I think it worked though for the drama of it because it added more stakes to the match when he came back against Flair because he'd been out for months, had to rehabilitate his knee, and there was all these question marks. Classic cartoony selling from the Freebird. So the top of this card is pretty stacked because we've still got the Steiners and Doom for the tag team titles. We've got this match now following on from the midnight match, and then we've still got the cage match main event. And who can forget Robocop? I'm sure he's the reason everyone came. It's weird, this match, because the strap gimmick isn't really coming into play that much. It just feels like a regular match, just then they can use the straps if they want. I think that's the point anyway. Beating the Freebirds at their own game. Stereo figure fours. Very nice. When you consider how many good tag teams there were across both companies, in like the late 80s, early 90s, like classic moonwalk. Then it had to be the best era for tag team wrestling. In the States, anyway. I can't really comment about elsewhere in the world, but certainly in like the States. And then you probably still had some other great tag teams who were like in other companies or more indie type promotions. And I know I've done a lot of banging on about how things were better during this time, but when you just see how stacked the tag divisions were across both companies, like I said, you would be hard pressed to really make an argument that it's not at least one of the best era for tag team wrestling, if not the best. Smart tag. Tooth. Oh, he popped him. The classic Michael Hayes, right. Good old Jimmy Jam. That's quite right there. Flair is the man to beat for Lexi. This is another strong match. Like, it's a little bit more of a... It's a good match. It's obviously a little bit more of a comedy start. Oh, that Bulldog looked good, though, from Hayes. Nicely sold from Morton. There's a little bit more of a comedy vibe to it because of the Freebirds and some of their antics, but it's another strong match. I think this is a stronger card than the Great American Bash overall. Maybe the highs are higher on that show, but I think it's definitely more inconsistent, that show. Choking him like a dog. You're right, Bob. Those 3 shots nearly killed me, so I don't know if I'll be taking any more. Maybe just stick to the regular drink. I don't watch a lot of modern wrestling, so I don't know if they still do the turnbuckle spot where the fans count along. It feels like something from a different era, so I'm not sure. Maybe they do it once in a while, I'm not sure really though. Yeah, that was a good looking counter. Yeah, the straps really haven't factored in that much. which I'm okay with because these two teams are more than capable of having like a good, solid, full-on match, which is like just a wrestling type match. Like, too much of the straps would have been just taken away from them having a good match, I think. It just makes it seem a little bit pointless because they're only using them once in a while. But I'm not going to complain. Nice sunset flip. Now he's getting a bit of strap action. Whipping him like a government mule, to quote JR. Pretty sweet finish. Who's the world's strongest man at this point? Oh, Doug Furness. Oh, they're claiming he is. So he'd been bouncing around wrestling for a while. Because it's like 96. He came into WWF. Him and Phil LaFon. Yeah, there's a few pointless little interview segments that they could have lost, like that one. You could have just had him on TV. I guess it's just because they see him as quite a big name. So it's like, yeah, just come out to get a bit of a pop from the crowd, hopefully. Doom's theme is one of my favourites from this time. Of Doom. Of course, he's got his head covered up after earlier. Definitely approved, and Simmons kept the theme after Doom split up. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, this is like a bit before the Steiners got their like classic WCW theme. This theme is a bit more of like a typical 80s like anthem rock. It still sounds pretty good, but it's definitely not as good as the theme they had after this. Rock and Roll Express going over last match makes sense though. Because they're challenging for the tag team titles next pay-per-view. So them being Freebirds definitely makes sense. Freebirds against the Steiners next time. Next show. Poor Teddy. I don't think there's any mullets in this match. Unless he counts Scott's. I'll say Scott's counts. I've already had a drink anyway. See, it's weird how many men had perms back here. Because I would say Butch Reed's hairstyle is more of a perm. I don't remember much from this match, but I remember the result. Oh, there's the Arn Anderson looking. I don't think he is security. I think he's like a camera grip or something, or like something technical. But I'm sure he was doubling as like a security guy earlier. Well, he does look a bit like Arn Anderson. Oh, that could have been a DQ straight away. Oh, this one is going to be physical. Pal Sam's a little bit OTT. I remember Arn Anderson telling a story about how the Steiners always like bullied people in the locker room. Ah, that's a sweet suplex release. Big pop as well. But the only person they wouldn't really mess with was Ron Simmons. And Arn went to Ron Simmons one day. I think it was Ron Simmons. And he asked, hey, they mess with everyone. They push everyone around. But you're like pretty much the only one they don't push around. How come? And Simmons just gave him like the classic Simmons deadpan or suggestive look, and it's like damn almost look. And he's like, that makes sense. I wonder if they even messed with like Flair and Arn and people like that, people who were obviously above them on the card. That would be interesting. Maybe because those guys travelled a lot together, maybe it didn't come up as much. But it would be interesting to see if the Steiners had the balls to like fuck around with like main eventers who were even higher than they are. That's a leapfrog. That's a nice leapfrog for a man his size. This show has just flown by. Such an easy watch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Reed's pretty solid himself. I wonder if he bulked up when he left WWF. Because he knew he was going to be in this tag team. Because I don't remember him being as muscly in WWF. I could be wrong, but I don't remember him having that sort of physique. Rick's hair does look a bit silly. Just because it's muffled under the headgear. Of course he's an animal lover, he's the dog-faced gremlin. Oh, that was sweet. Maybe I should drink every time there's a Steiner line. Damn, he's strong. Boom. What I enjoy about this sort of match is there's still going to be good wrestling because the Steiner brothers can wrestle and stuff. Especially like Doom are more limited, obviously, but like the wrestling's going to be at least decent. Chiseled. But at the same time, it's also fun because you've got legitimately two really tough, powerful teams. So when they're going back and forth trying to outdo each other in like the brawling or the power stakes, that adds another layer to the match as well. Because it's this idea of the Steiners have been like the big dogs for a while. But now there's this new team on the scene, Doom, who can probably match them in the power stakes and also like to brawl and do power moves. So suddenly there's competition. Oh, Scott's taking some punishment now. Stiff clothesline. Oh yeah, I forgot Jim Ross claiming he's Burt Reynolds' favourite wrestler. Not a terrible choice if true. Sadly, Bert's no longer around, so I'll never get to ask him. Slowing it down, slowing it way down, to quote OSW. This match is solid. It's obviously not like as good as some other matches on the card, but it's definitely solid. As I said, the fact you've got these two power teams going back and forth, that adds something a little bit different compared to some of the matches. I hope he does the screwdriver. I know it's just a basic suplex. That's fine. I don't know if he was doing the screwdriver back here. Might not have been. But he also does a really good job in putting Doom over. Teddy, classic heel manager, getting some of his boxing chops in. Because win or lose, when you watch the match, it's definitely putting Doom over strong. Even if they lost the match, they would be enhanced. Oh, that was a nice overhead suplex. They would definitely be in a stronger, more convincing position, Doom, even if they lost this match. Bad boys. Pretty snug pile driver. Oh, fuck me. Simmons not holding anything back with the shoulder block. Oh, man. Fuck me. That looked good. Simmons was saved by the fact it shot him across the ring and he landed nearer the ropes. Fresh blood in. Oh, good save. Pretty much going to be non-stop now. Action until the finish, I reckon. Oh, here we go. Could be new champs. No. Come on, Pee-wee, get control. And I think Teddy Long will be smiling in just a minute or two. He's had a rough night, but it's about to get better. Oh, yeah. Wow. Major upset. The team of doom. Wow. The Steiners were definitely protected by the way it finished. The fact that there was outside shenanigans, and it wasn't like just one of them being pinned clean, but at the same time, massive upset, which a lot of people wouldn't have seen coming. I think WCW management just saw potential money in Doom, and so they pulled the trigger. Which is fair play. Sometimes that's what you need to do, and then it's just a case of if they sink or swim. And the Steiner brothers were so over and stuff, they were always going to have another run somewhere down the line. That's a great line. Two rules. First African American tag team champions, I think. At least in the NWA. I would have to look into that, whether there had been other in like the States, I guess, but woo-hoo. Doing the Ric Flair rule. Oh, Teddy. He's definitely one of the MVPs of the night. Okay, I'm just going to pause it one more time before the main event. Just to go to the bathroom. Back in a minute, guys. Here we go. I think this is my favourite. I've put away the heavy drink, otherwise I've been drinking for Luger's mullet, which is quite something. Congrats to Lex for going into the Hall of Fame this year. Well deserved. He's a little heelish there, isn't he? The way he comes out and the way he chucks the US title at the ref. I guess the idea is he's meant to be business-like. But I think that Luger theme he has during this time might be my favourite. Although his one in 96, 97, probably, well, when he came back to WCW, that theme was good. I don't think I like it quite as much as this theme. It's another mullet, of course, and some great hair, some great 1980s style hair from woman. R.I.P. to her too. It's always very hard watching these old shows when she's on a card. What a sad what a sad loss. Another mention of Robocop. Sting's new best friend. Forget Lex Luger, he'll be working out with Robocop from now on. So this match must go at least 20, 25 minutes. Because there's still a fair bit of the show. Which makes sense. These Flair main events tend to go pretty long on average. When it's on a pay-per-view. JR putting it over big time. Classic Flair mind games. That punk referee Mike Atkins needs to get control here. Now, Jim. Don't get too frisky. Oh, is this something like a pipe? What did he find? I think it was like brass knuckles. I forgot about that. Here we go. So the design of this cage that they used in WCW, they later called it the Thunderdome cage. It's very similar to what the WWF would use, or WWE if you like, would use for like Hell in the Cell. So that's another thing they ripped off from WCW, I'm gonna say. I think of this maybe as Lex's prime. I think maybe just because he was obviously fresh on the scene and he was obviously in very good condition. Maybe before his body had been like so ravished with steroids. And probably just because he worked with some really talented people, even though he wasn't necessarily the best in-ring performer. Some of those people definitely rubbed off on him and gave him some good matches. So probably he had more like good matches. Oh, that gorilla press always looked good though. Damn it. He probably had more better matches in like the late 80s, early 90s period in WCW. But then he probably maybe had his best run in some ways in 96, 97, when the whole NWO thing was in full swing and Luger was one of the best, or like one of the big baby faces who were always opposing them. And I think just him finally winning the world title off Hogan, even though the reign didn't last that long, I think that was probably personally for him as well such a big moment, because he'd done everything but win the world title during his first run in WCW. He obviously had more than one US title run. Oh, actually, of course I'm forgetting. He actually did win the world title. He was the first WCW champion. But overall, that was a bit of a nothing run, and he ended on a bit of a whimper in that forgettable match where he dropped it to Sting. So, okay, he did actually win it eventually during his first WCW run. But it wasn't. The way he won it, and then the way he dropped it back to Sting, and his run in general as world champion really wasn't anything to write home about, like I said. And then obviously his WWF run ended up being a disappointment, especially when they switched in babyface. I always had a soft spot for the Narcissist. I think at the time that just fitted Luger's character so well. And it made more sense him playing like a self-obsessed heel. But when they switched in babyface, I would say from about SummerSlam onwards, when they didn't put the belt on him, from like SummerSlam onwards, oh, that's an impressive vertical suplex from Flair that time. Yeah, from SummerSlam onwards, his WWF run definitely flatlined. And he always felt more at home in WCW. But the pinnacle was definitely 96, 97. 97 maybe his best year. Peaking with that massive win on against Hogan. Great selling from Flair as always. Ah, we're getting a bit of juice for the first time tonight. A crimson mass. It's funny that they didn't put it on Lex, like they didn't have him eventually beat Flair. Like even if it was just a short reign. Because they kept doing this thing where they were really competitive matches. And he got like close but because he was in that solid mid upper card position and it was a long running feud, you just would have thought at some point they might have at least given him a short run. But I guess it's just because the plan was always to go with Sting next. Sexy Lexi. Stiff chop, but no cigar. On most guys, that would have been effective. Not so much on Lex. Oh, that guy's committed. He didn't get a letter, but instead he's got an exclamation mark on his chest. Fair play. He didn't want to be left out.